Hey, well, every year in January, I take a couple of weeks off with my family and I kind of assess the year that was. It helps me to plan the year that's coming up. And as I was looking over 2020, I was just smashed. I thought, man, we just had the best year. I had the best year in 2020 that I've ever had. And I'm not just blowing smoke there. 2020 was amazing for the studio. And I was just looking back over some of the songs, kind of listening back to some mixes, watching some videos and stuff we've done. And it was just incredible. The artists that I got to work with in 2020 were top shelf. And I just thought as I was looking through, I need to share this. Yeah, so let me drop some stats as I was counting some things. At Dotted 8 Studio last year, 2020, we recorded 223 songs, which is incredible. And given there's only 365 days in the year, to do 223 songs is pretty amazing. So that covered a whole range of things. That's gone from professional Spotify releases where I'd spend hours and hours and hours on the mix, all the way through to like demos where people just want to come in and get a song out, not to be released, but just for them to get it out of their brain or, off the sheet of paper or whatever. And, everywhere in between. Also, huge milestone, I added video to the services that the studio offers in 2020 and actually got to produce 19 videos. So that's all the way from full-fledged music videos through to performance videos, through to some covers, through to some interviews with artists about the songs they've written. So that was awesome. 19 videos. I'm very proud of that. 2021 is going to be a lot bigger for videos. I've really been enjoying that. What else we got? 2020 was the year of the live stream. I had artists coming in weekly all the way through winter for live streams. So all in all, I had 19 different artists come in and do a live stream. I really learned how to make this studio work as a live stream venue, made sure the mixes sounded great, the pitch looked great, and it was honestly a bit of a nightmare and probably about 6 weeks of trial and error, having to purchase gear, figure it out. Because I didn't want to just be part of the noise of live stream and just, make it dodgy. I wanted to make sure that it was an incredible experience because artists weren't getting that anywhere in 2020. Artists weren't able to go out and do shows in great venues. So this was a way for them to engage with their audience. So I had to make sure it was great. So that was a nightmare. But 2021, I want to do more live streams. I think it's something that happened in that season, but I don't think it's going anywhere. I think a good live stream, there's a place for it in 2021. So we're going to be doing more of that. But yeah, to have 19 artists through, that is excellent. So what I want to just spend a little bit of time doing now is just going through some of my favorite mixes from 2020 and just showing you. I'm going to bring them up in the software and just show you what went into the mixes to make them sound as good as they ended up sounding. And I'm going to look at a couple of videos as well. It's not going to take ages. I'm not going to go through 223 songs. I'm not even going to be able to scratch the surface of the artists that I worked with, but I'm going to pick 5 or 6 songs and 2 or 3 videos to have a look at it. The first mix I've got here is Lewith. This was awesome. This is an acoustic pop track. We did this kind of around the middle of the year. So if you know anything about Lewith, you'll know that Lewith's sound really is his voice. He's just got this beautiful, beautiful tone in his voice. He can cover about 19 octaves. Sounds excellent. So this song was really around that. This is the track.
We are from different worlds, but I know that we can always count on our love. And they say every rose has its thorns, but she is perfect to me as anything can, 'cause I know.
Which is a super cool track. So let's have a quick breakdown of some of the production that went into it. As you can hear, a lot of his voice. He played the acoustic guitar. James Buchanan came in and did an acoustic solo. We had Quinn on the bass. So a few tracks of acoustic guitar. I tend to double track acoustic guitar where I can. Because it's a mono instrument, you can capture it in stereo, but if you record it twice, you can actually make a really good stereo separation of it. So you can see in the verses here, I kind of stripped it back. And then in these big choruses, using different mics, some sounded closer, some sounded further away. So we used the closer mics for the verses, and then pushed it further away for the choruses. Cool, and then we had Quinn come and do a bass track over it. And then his voice. So we've got his lead vocal. You can see all these layers of of Lewis folk. We've got the Lewis choir. So this one he did lots of ad-libs and stuff. It was kind of the last chorus because it was kind of a pop track. Lots of sort of movement just to give that last chorus a bit more intensity.
Know that we are from different worlds, but I know.
So we got a triple of his voice so that I could push one left and right. So this is a left and right without his center one in.
We can always count on our love. They say every rose has its thorns.
And that's kind of carrying the melody for this last chorus while his top line kind of went all over the place a little bit. There was harmonies matched on some words. He kind of pick and chose where he'd add harmonies, which I thought sounded really cool.
Love, they say every rose has its thorns, but she is perfect to me as anything can. I know from different worlds, but I know we can always count on our love.
Awesome. Very, very good. So what we did with all these choir parts, they're all singing the same line, but we did a couple just normally, and then I just got him to throw a bunch of different accents or variations or just different ways of saying it so that it sounded like it was a big big group of people singing this more as a choir, but it's all just one man, Lewis.
You are, and all of your mistakes, you are, but every single reason that I awake each day, you are my only concern, you are my every single thought in this world, you are, you're perfectly imperfect as anything can be.
So many layers. Such a cool track. Definitely one of my favorites to work on. Let's pull up another one. Let's have a look at Robbie Mortimer, Mountains in the Sea. So this guy, I just worked so much with Robbie in 2020. He's such an excellent dude. I'm really, really passionate about his music, and he was just in here so often. Like, I think his butt prints are in the sofa there. He's just always in here showing me new songs or recording. Robbie's actually one of those artists where I've got so much cool songs in here that I can't show anybody. We recorded a bunch of demos and stuff that'll all be released this year. But yeah, Robbie's got heaps in the works. So let's have a look at this song, Mountains in the Sea by Robbie. This is Robbie's project file for Mountains in the Sea. Massive 97 tracks making up this huge pop production. It just sounds awesome. So let's just go through. I'll show you the song first, and then we'll have a listen to some different parts.
You have to drift away just like the sea. The summer breeze has changed us. And even if it makes you sad, but don't forget the times we've.
I want to show you the parts that really, I think, make up a mix like this. When you can hear the drums, you can hear the bass, you can hear the guitar, but there's so many other little elements that just make those really shine just by sitting in the background and taking some of the heavy lifting kind of, so these bits can really be simple, but yet really, really effective. So one of those is the percussion parts. So all these lighter blue channels here are all different types of percussion. Cowbells, djembes, other sort of African type drums, shakers, sticks, tambourines. So let's have a listen to that. I'll unmute it, see if you can hear all that now in the full track.
Even if it makes you sad, but don't forget the times we've had. And even if it makes you sad, don't forget the times.
Let's go through and I'll solo all the drums. We had Jacob Pickett come in and do the drums for this song. So this is the full, I'll turn the percussion off and then I'll turn it on. But this is the kit to start with. Right now, add the percussion to it. Which I just think is so amazing. Like, Jacob is an awesome drummer, but he's just playing a really simple beat there, like a 4 on the floor type beat, and all those percussion-y bits just make him sound like he's playing this really complicated, awesome beat. So percussion's sick for that. Quinn was on the bass for this song. I'll just quickly show you that, which sounded great, obviously. It's Quinn. Just so good. So those lines just make so much. You don't know you need a bass player until you've had a good bass player, and then you need a good bass player every time. James Buchanan played the guitars. Similar story. This guy is amazing. Just so many great ideas that he brings to the table and then can just do it, and his tone is great. This is his guitar parts. Again, you can hear there's lots going on in there. So let's break down that a little bit for the guitarists out there. So this first thing, everything's double tracked with the guitars. If I got a couple of takes, so he plays the exact same thing twice, I can move one to the right speaker, one to the left speaker, and then that, I did that around the wrong way because I don't know my lefts and rights thing, and that leaves a lot of room down the middle. If you just track a guitar one time, you've got to either push that all the way to the left, all the way to the right, or have it fight with those central things like your kick drum and your vocal and stuff. So this is one of the parts here. Yeah, so that track's doing the like a 16th note. I should have just done the guitar with my mouth. The other unsung hero of this mix, I reckon, is all the piano parts. So I'll show you really quickly in solo, but I'll add them in. You got a regular piano, a Rhodes, some Rhodes stabs, and then an organ. And this organ. Awesome, and then you also may not have noticed the acoustic guitar that's in this track. I played this for Robbie on this particular track. There's two parts in there. There's just a normal acoustic guitar, just hitting those chords. And then as well, just to create a rhythm line, I just did, each change, I kind of did some this. Very cool. There's also some itchy necks effects. We love some effects. So these are reverse cymbals, sort of rises, anything to kind of create hype, create tension, and then also release tension. Like that. There's a cool bit coming into the bridge here. Where's that? Awesome. And then there's one that I've called a downer. So this is just leading into the quiet bit when you want to bring it down instead of hype it up. Let's go here. I will climb the mountain. Pop production, you got vocals. What I do with vocals mainly, when I'm doing pop, when I want a big sounding vocal, I get the artist to sing the song for me so many times. Because what I'm basically trying to do is get at least three, but normally three, sometimes only two, identical takes. So it's double tracking, triple tracking. I want exactly the same line sang a bunch of times so that I can move that around in the spatial field, have like your main vocal right up front, but then a few backing vocals, all working together just to make the vocal sound really big and present and full, which is what we're so used to hearing in a pop track. So let me show you his main line here on its own.
You have to drift away just like the sea.
Sounding cool, but he's got this double and this triple either side of it. So I'll show you what these two sound like, and you'll hear they're kind of pushed side to side, and there's a kind of a gap in the middle.
You have to drift away just like the sea.
So then I'll add his main vocal on, and you'll hear just this big power coming through.
You have to drift away just like the sea. The summer breeze has changed us.
The idea is that you can't really hear that it's more than one voice. It just sounds like that one voice is very powerful. It has like a really big, strong presence to it. But we've layered that up to get it to sound like that. Another unsung hero of a mix, particularly a pop mix, is Harmonies. So shout out to my wife who writes so many harmonies for me in the studio. So many local artists you've heard, local songs coming from the studio have harmonies written by Jamie. So Robbie is one of those guys. These harmonies, there's two layers. So he's done a high octave harmony and a low octave harmony that sits above and below the melody. So this is the high line.
Have to drift away just like the sea. Summer breezes change that.
Harmonies sound ridiculous on their own. They sound so great in a mix. So he's just doubled that with these low ones. I'll put those on as well.
You have to drift away just like the sea. Summer breezes change that.
Robbie did so well to sing those harmonies so well. So the trick with a good harmony is to make it sound exactly or follow rhythmically the melody. So that, again, you can't hear there's more than one voice. You can just hear that one voice sounds really full. So let me stick on the main voice. I'll leave the other two doubles off for now.
You have to drift away just like the sea. The summer breeze has changed that.
And then if I do that again, but I add these doubles on, you'll hear that really big sound.
You have to drift away just like the sea. The summer breeze has changed that.
So that song is awesome. We love you, Robbie Mortimer. He's got so many new songs coming in 2021. We've got so many great plans. So keep an ear out to that. You can stream this song, obviously, on Spotify. You can stream all these songs I'm going to show you on Spotify if you want to check those out and have a listen to those little effects. Who should we bring up? I want to bring up a song I recorded really early on in the year by Emerson Miller. So this is kind of another pop track. You may learn that I really enjoy pop music. I just love pop production. Hey, I love that there's so much stuff in it and it's all simple to make this really, really big sound. In saying that, I love working with rock as well. So if you're a band, I love doing the band stuff, but there weren't many bands in 2020. I think the main reason being COVID, probably you weren't allowed to rehearse and stuff with bands for a good chunk there. So the solo muso really shined in 2020, but I'm sure 2021 we'll get some more bands back in here and that will be cool. There is a band. I'm going to show you some bands. Don't worry about that. So this song was just so subtle. It was so beautiful. So many people commented on how lovely this song was. Emerson did a brilliant job writing it. So let's just have a quick listen here.
Invincible.
So I actually did a full video with Emerson earlier on this year where we kind of chatted about this song, so I won't spend ages on it, but again, I just wanted to show you a few things that we did. This song was kind of driven by that bass line, which is a digital bass, just mapped it in on the keyboard here. Pretty simple line, but that just worked really well with the drums that we put in. So this kick trigger is turned all the way up. It's not mapped to anything. It's turned all the way up, so it's giving signal, but it's not giving any audio. And then I've got that synced to a compressor on the bass. So every time that kick hits, the bass dips down. Hear that? If I turn the trigger off, solid, flick it on. So that gave us. That kind of gave us this movement going in and out all the time. Other sort of percussion, not a whole lot in this track, to be honest, percussion-wise. Just some hats and a snare and that comp trigger. Felt like the bass was kind of giving us a lot of the rhythm that it needed. What else do we have? We had this guitar kind of droning all the way through. A lot of rhythm coming from that guy as well. These pads just giving atmosphere. And then these soft pianos, just even not even playing a riff, just like a big chord at the start of each sequence. And then some more effects. Few rises, effects doing this sort of thing similar to the other mixes. Very cool. So vocals for this, it didn't go as crazy as the other ones. Just because it wasn't as big, it didn't need all that power. So what we've got is a lead vocal.
She'd be
And then a double vocal doing the exact same thing. And I've mixed that a bit more dull, as you'll hear.
unbreakable. She'd be incredible.
Then we've got low vocals doing
Be unstoppable. Be unbreakable.
low melody. So they're all working together.
She'd be incredible.
And then the last chorus, that's right, that's where the harmony came in.
I'd be unstoppable. I'd be unbreakable.
It's kind of Billie Eilish sounding, isn't it? That low vocal there. Let me put that on again. Just that sort of whispery thing, which just the same as what it does in Billie Eilish, just adds this sort of real presence and not creepiness, but kind of like a depth, like a bit of darkness.
I'd be unstoppable. I'd be unbreakable. I'd be invincible.
Doing octaves in the vocals is so effective because you just get the melody, you get the tune coming through. You just get this big bit of depth. So yeah, we love that song, Emerson. She did a great job.
Be unstoppable. I'd be unbreakable.
Awesome. What else did I want to show you? I want to show you Color City. These guys did a song that they do in church, actually. But if you've heard churches in 2020, they've got killer music. If you haven't, stick around and have a listen to this. I think you'll really enjoy it. So they're really synth driven. They're really drums driven. They got pretty simple melodies because they're like sing-alongs, but that sounds lame. They're sing-along. They're designed for people to sing along to, much like a pop melody, very simple, sort of recognizable melody. But they've got this, particularly this song here, Kingdom Life it's called, there's real power. And we did some cool stuff with the drums and the guitars, and there's synth lines in. Probably one of the most enjoyable mixes I've done, to be honest, this year, because it was a band that had so much depth and power in it. It was a lot of fun. Cool. Hopefully the computer won't choke out as I'm playing this track because it's massive, 70-something tracks. So I'll just give you a little sample of the power in this track. Ready?
Kingdom life. This kingdom life. This kingdom life.
Yeah, so you can hear there's heaps of stuff in there, real synth driven. Let's start with the drums, because we love drums. There's a few cool things we did in the drums actually that made it sound so cool. Now, where are those little whips? Oh man, there's so much automation. Automation is where you, so when you do a mix live, you will ride the fader. So if you want the guitar up, you'll turn the guitar up, or if you want it faded to the left, you'll fade to the left. But when you've got like a really detailed mix, and you want to have like 20 hands, so you can automate it, so draw it in, so every time at 2 minutes 20, it'll turn it up there, or every time it gets to that chorus, it'll pan it to the right, or something like that. So you can see all these that I'm closing now are all the automations that I did to make this song move around and flow. Yeah, so where's those whips? Because those whips sounded cool. FX snare, found it. Yeah, so hear that? Sounds like a big whip. They come off kind of the back of the snare. It's kind of as the snare comes in, which just sounds cool. Dan, the drummer, was telling me that they had to grow on him. He didn't love them to start with. I mean, it doesn't sound natural like you can play it on a drum kit, So drummers kind of struggle. Well, that's a bit general, but drummers struggle when something's on there that they're not actually playing because, everyone judges you for that. You didn't really play that. But it sounds cool. So that's just an effect. Yeah. Sounds cool in the mix. Just makes it sound real big.
This kingdom life. This kingdom life.
I like it anyway. There's quite a few guitar tracks in there sounded cool. Little riff here. And then you got subtle pad, tapey pad, intro effect, synth riff, synth lead. So that big lead riff is done by this one. Yeah, this guy in this intro, I think. And these pads, just giving that depth, fullness. That one's called subtle pad. Most present subtle thing I've ever heard. I named that, by the way, Mark. So I'm not having to dig at you. I'm having to dig at me. Why I thought that was called the subtle pad. Adding a bit of movement. Movement's so key in a good mix. If everything's kind of like moving from left to right or sweeping through frequencies or coming in and out in some way, it just adds movement and gives the track so much life. So these guys at Colour City just did an excellent job of creating a bunch of movement and dynamic and feel. And then we wanted to make it kind of sound like there was people singing along. So we got them in the room just to bunch through, to sing this track through a bunch of times. Just this microphone's kind of spread out everywhere, so it'd sound like there was people in the crowd singing along to it. So this is what that sounded like.
Your grace, your power, your love, and this kingdom life.
When it drops in there, that sounds so cool. I'm gonna do that again.
Your power, your love, and this kingdom life.
You can see in the mix here, I've actually automated the volume up there, so it actually increases by, it's probably 3 dB. That's what I normally do. When it gets to that bit, just to make the whole song kind of lift and go another level. And then when I get to mastering, which I haven't done at this version, this is just the mix. The master, the limiter kind of lets it go a little bit as it gets softer and softer there. And then when it hits that loud bit, rather than actually getting louder, it just squeezes it more, which our brains kind of equate to something being loud. If it's kind of squished and distorted, we feel like it's really loud. So yeah, neat little trick there is you're not mucking around with volume so much at the end of the day, but we are mucking around with intensity, and just to squash that chorus a bit more just gives it that real power and kick. So the other thing that we did this year is added video, like I mentioned. So I want to show you a couple of the videos that we did. I've been doing videos for myself for a while. I've got a YouTube channel where I was doing one cover a month, and I did a couple more this year as well. But I just kind of opened it up and started doing videos for local artists, which I really enjoyed. I want to show you some of those. One was for Nolan. So this song is called Hourglass.
We're confronted by empty days ahead.
Super cool. Pretty cool. So Nolan is a really good writer. So he writes all these kind of electronic parts. He's got a band that we also recorded this year called Eraser. And he kind of programs all these parts in. They sound really good. Then he brought that down here and we laid Darcy's bass over, his acoustic, the vocals, and filmed it. And it worked really well. Sounds great. That song actually came out on streaming services just this month in January. So that is really cool. You should check that out. It's called Novel Future. Really cool. So that song was a blast. I really enjoyed recording that. We kind of did it in a bunch of different takes, lots of different angles, and then we pulled all the audio together, kind of fixed all the angles up, it was a cool one. It was good fun. The other one I did, I'll show you this one of me. My friend Adam said, oh, you should do this song by Billy Joel. It was really suit your voice. I thought, oh, okay. I don't really know Billy Joel, don't tell anybody, but I don't really know too much about Billy Joel. But I listened to the song, I'm like, dude, it's all vocals. It's all vocal harmony. But then I had this idea to kind of have myself sing a ton of different parts. So this was really, really hard to do, by the way. So much planning and organising to make sure that they didn't cross into the different people's zones.
Whoa, for the longest time. Whoa, for the longest time.
It was also super hard to figure out what all the harmonies were. But yeah, if you just search Craig Honeyset on YouTube, you can find that and a bunch of other covers that I've done. But I do enjoy that. I did a few covers this year and there's a bunch on there from 2019 as well. But yeah, that was fun. Kind of just to do camera tricks. Kind of had to learn how to do that because I didn't know. I did a Christmas collaboration, HD Awareness Orange, Huntington's Disease Awareness Orange with Rachel Brooking, which was awesome. So that showed at the cinema at the end of 2020. Which was so much pressure. Kind of talking to Dave Smythe about how do I do this so that it looks good on the big screen. He said it's a very big screen, so make sure it's focused. It was a ton of fun. I want to show you Rachel's song because it was really good. We did 12 different songs that we put on the big screen, and we did it in about 6 weeks from start to finish. So it was 12 individual videos of all the different artists that were kind of helping raise awareness for Huntington's disease. It was super cool. The audio for that is super cool. I don't know if that's available yet, but it will be at some point. It'll probably get a resurgence next Christmas or this 2021's Christmas. But I'll just show you a little bit of the video just of Rachel because it was awesome.
I don't care if the house is packed or the strings of lights are broken. I don't care if the gifts are wrapped or there's nothing here to open. Love is not a toy and no paper can conceal it. Love is simply joy that I'm home.
How nice is that? That was a beautiful song, but that project was, I probably said it a couple of times, but that was one of the highlights of my year, honestly, just being able to work on that project for such a great cause. To get 10 different artists in to do 12 songs was just beautiful. And Rachel's just the most beautiful person and made the whole thing really, really enjoyable. I might show you one more video, and then I think that's a pretty good recap of 2020. I mean, I wish I could show you all 223 songs, but who's got time for that? Nobody. Robbie Mortimer. We did a couple of these stories, actually. I might just quickly show you the stories because they're cool. Dashboard drummer interview.
Studio the night before for Mountains in the Sea, and we'd had a really late night, but I remember going into the studio the next morning and I called Craig and I said, I need to show you a song. I just could not wait to show someone, so I've called Craig up and I just said, mate.
That was cool. We sat, that's on Robbie's parents' farm there at the winery. We just sat down and just chatted about his song. And that was cool to put that sort of video together just to give people an insight. If you're an artist, like your music is one thing, but your personality, your person is what people really connect to. And then they like your music because they like you. Sometimes it can go the other way. They like your music, but then they like you. But there's got to be both. So doing this sort of video was really enjoyable for me because I love being able to connect artists with audiences. And I think that sort of thing was a really good way to do that. I think video in general is a really good way to do that because we're so visual and we get to see, it's hard to get someone to go over to Spotify and listen to his song, but it's easy to get them to watch a video if it's of high quality, sounds good, looks good. But yeah, this sort of interview personality thing is really, really good. That song I didn't show you today just simply because of time, but brilliant. Dashboard Drummer. Make sure you check that one out on Spotify or Apple Music as well. Mountains in the Sea music video MP4. This is the first ever full-fledged music video that I did. So this has the story in it. It's cool. It was a lot of fun. So I'll show you a little snippet of that. You can find this full video on his YouTube channel. If you search Robbie Mortimer in Google or on YouTube, you'll reach this.
Known better from the start. I show my love with a broken heart. And I sat down and she stood back up. And I can't pronounce the words they write on the side of a coffee cup.
Let me skip forward a bit. There's some running parts.
You have to drift away just like the sea. The summer breeze has changed us. And even if it makes you sad, don't forget the times we've had. I will climb the mountain. You have to drift away just like the sea. The summer breeze has changed us. And even if it makes you sad, but don't forget the times we've had.
And that was fun. It's so weird looking back at these. I get so many memories of working on these projects, and it's cool. You think you're sick of them once you finish because you just spend so many hours on it, but then give it a month or two, watch it again, and it just feels so good to have been involved and to get these awesome results for artists. It's awesome. So I think that's about it. Thanks for hanging out with me and just kind of recapping 2020 with me. I really did have the best year I've ever had, and I think 2021 is going to be better. And I'd just love to work with you, My passion, you could ask any of the artists that I just worked with and showed you there. My passion is really just about getting artists where they want to go with music. I really don't care what my role is in that. I just want to help you do it. So if that's video, or if that's a live stream, or if that's recording or songwriting help, whatever it is, I just want to be in your corner because I am really passionate about artists. I'm passionate about local artists who just want to make their art happen. I think because I spent years as an artist kind of being frustrated, not being able to get my music out there. I felt like I had something that I couldn't show the world. And now that I've got the ability to do that, my heart is really just about helping people and making dreams come true. And, you know, some people are dreamers and they feel a bit stupid saying, I want this and I want that. But, you know, I'm on your team. If you want that, then I want to help you get that. How can we do that in 2021? Sing out. I'd love to work with you. You can go to dotted8.com and fill out the web form on there so I can get in contact with you, or go to my Instagram, or my Facebook, or my YouTube. Whatever you want to do, I'd love to connect with you. Let's make music in 2021. Thanks so much.